Hey guys, so today we're checking out the Rough Country Heavy Duty LED rear bumper fitting all 2017 and newer F-250 Super Duties. Now this will be a great pick for you if you're looking for some heavy duty protection to the rear end of the truck while also getting usable utility. Now the rear bumper will also add more of an off-road or utilitarian look if you're in search of some more aggressive appeal. Not to mention, if you're struggling with rear end visibility, this rear bumper will help out in that department as well, whether that's for a work light or backing up at night. Now the bumper will feature a boxy construction with honeycomb plating on top for some sporty appeal to the build. This will also integrate two steps, one on either side, to help you hop into the bed a lot easier than your factory rear bumper allows. Now on the face of the bumper, you're also going to get two 2-inch flush-mounted LED cube lights, offering great lighting performance, which will just aid the factory backup lighting that much more. This will also feature factory-style cutouts for the hitch receiver, hitch plug, backup sensors, and the license plate lighting, so it's going to keep up to OE standards. This will be made of a heavy-duty steel construction, again being durable and able to take a hit whenever need be. Now it's also going to have a nice textured black powder coat finish on top, preventing any rusting on the surface of the bumper and just adding more of an off-road feel than it already has. Now the lights will also be tough with an aluminum housing and a durable lens, while offering a high lumen output and a 6000K bright white color temperature. Now the lights will also feature a plug-and-play wiring harness with a switch, keeping it simple when it comes to the install. This will come in at roughly $750, putting this at an affordable price point for a rear bumper in the category. Now compared to other rear bumpers, this will come with a lot of features while still keeping the price reasonable, including the lighting, retaining the OEM features, and featuring those helpful steps on the side. Now I think if you find these features useful and you like the boxy, oversized appearance of this rear bumper, then this is going to be a great pick for you. Install will be a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you about 2 hours to get the job done with some basic hand tools. Now at this point, we can head over to the shop and check out a detailed breakdown of the install step by step. So that's going to wrap it up for me. Let's go ahead and jump into it.
Tools used for this install: 3/8 electric impact gun, a push clip removal tool, 18mm wrench, a 1/4-inch drive ratchet with a 10mm socket, 21 and 18mm sockets, a 3/8 to 1/2-inch adapter, some wiring, butt connectors, terminal connectors that you can get at your local hardware store, crimping pliers, and a plastic pry tool. Hey guys, I'm going to show you how to uninstall and install our Rough Country bumper here on our 2018 F-250. But first I'm going to go over a couple things with you. If you're buying this bumper and you're putting it on your vehicle, you might have to get, depending on the bed length and cab size, some extra wiring harnesses to do this job. Because of the bed length and the cab length, the wiring harness that they supply in the kit is not probably going to be long enough. So double check that before you start installing this, so that you have the right stuff and the extra wiring harnesses that you need to put this bumper on. So the first thing we're going to do on our uninstall is I'm going to get down here on the ground, and we have 2 tag lights right here we're going to disconnect. Now we're not going to be able to get the camera in there because it's so tight of an area. But I'm going to get down here and we'll put my hand up in there. There's a little clip in there you're going to feel. You'll feel where the tag light is. You're going to push on that clip, pull the connector off. So I'm going to get under here, and you barely got enough room just to get your hand in there. And I'm just going to pull that one off. I'm going to come on this side, and I'm going to come in from the back here. And it's a little tight, but you can get your hand on the clip. And we're going to pull that one off. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to get underneath here and disconnect our trailer hitch wiring harness from the plug. So now we're underneath the truck. We have the truck up in the air on a lift. Now if you're at home, you have your truck up in the air, make sure you use jack stands to support it. We're going to get up inside here, and it's going to probably be hard to see, but your trailer plug harness is up in here. It's a little clip on it. I'm going to push, reach my hand up in there and pop this off. I'm just going to go up, hit the clip, and get it and remove it out of the way. Now once we get that harness off, all our electrical connections are done. Our bumper does not have these sensors in it, so if your bumper does, you're going to have to remove those harnesses too to get this off. Next, we're going to go on both sides of the bumper, and there's two 21 millimeters we have to remove. So now we're going to remove these two 21 millimeters here. I'm going to back them off and leave one, just have a couple threads on, that way the bumper does not fall off. If you're going to take them both off, make sure you support the bumper. So I'm going to take a 21 millimeter here on my impact gun. Like again, I'm going to leave one with just a couple threads on it. I'm going to take that one off completely. Now you're going to want to repeat this same procedure on the opposite side. So now that we have our bumper ready to come off, if this is the time you want to grab an extra set of hands, I grabbed Alex here. We're going to grab it. I already took the two nuts that I had just holding the bumper on. So we're just going to grab it and give it a pull and take it off. So now we got our bumper off. We got our old bumper back up on the table. I do have some of our new stuff that we're going to be putting on our new bumper once we get this apart. There are some things on this bumper we have to take off. The trailer plug here, the tag lights. We have this locking switch here that we're going to take out with our key. We have a harness underneath here that I'm going to have to pull out for the tag lights. But first what we'll do is we'll get underneath here. I'm going to flip this over, show you how to get the tag lights out, show you how to get the trailer plug out and get this out, and we'll get this all removed and then get our new bumper onto the table. So now we're going to get inside here. You're going to have your tag light bracket right here. There's three little clips, 1, 2, 3. What you're going to do is push down, and when you push down on a couple of them, you push the tag light so it starts to go out, and then it pops out just like that. So now you're going to want to repeat that same procedure on the opposite side. So now we're going to remove our trailer plug. Just going to squeeze in on these clips. And it'll fall right out just like that. So now we're going to remove our harness back here. These are for our tag lights. Now there's a clip here, clip on this end, and these three clips here. This has been off of our truck a bunch of times. A lot of our clips are broke. So I'm just going to show you, you're going to have to try to get a screwdriver or a clip removal tool to get in there, pop everything off. Ours, it pretty much is just like that one just came right off, and these clips are broke, as you can see. Now, if your clips aren't broke, as you can see, they're just push clips. You're just going to get in there, pry behind them, pop them out, do the same for these. Ours are missing teeth and all kinds of stuff from being taken apart so many times. So what I'm going to do is just pull this through, just like this. And the same on the other side. Fish this whole harness through this side. And get this out of the way. We'll be reusing this on our new bumper. So next we're going to remove our spare tire lock here. Just going to put this down. You're going to take your key from your vehicle and we will get this in there, give it a turn. You'll be able to pull it right out like so. We'll be putting that in our new bumper. So next we got our new bumper in place here. What we're going to do is we're going to put these plugs in place. Now these are going to go into these holes out front here. I think there's one here, one here. Now if your bumper is equipped with the sensors for the back, you're going to be putting sensors in. Ours doesn't have that, so we're going to use these plugs. And how these plugs will work, you'll see once you get your bumper up underneath, you'll see that these have little two tabs. The tabs are going to slide right into place. So I'll start with this one down here, and we'll just take the tab, push it into place, just like that. Same with this one here. Now you're going to want to repeat that same procedure on the opposite side. So next we'll be installing our license plate inserts. They're just going to push right in here, like that. Like that. So next we'll be installing our tag lights. They just clip into place and you'll just feel them pop in once you, just like that. Same with this one over here. Next, we'll be installing our trailer hitch plug, and all you're going to do, again, just get it started and pop it into place. Now we'll be installing our spare tire lock. Just going to take it, get it down in place like that, use your key, give it a turn, pull it out, put the cap on, and that's installed. So now with our bumper, we have everything from our factory bumper in place. We're going to install our lights in the back here. So what we're going to do is just take the plug here, put it through, get our light in place here. There's some plastic film on the lens cover you can take off. In the kit, they're going to supply us with these Allen head bolts. I'm just going to install these. And then put these nuts here on the back side. Get these all started. This one is over here a little bit. And the last one down here. I'm going to take the Allen wrench supplied in the kit and tighten these up. Same on this side. I was able to hold the nut from spinning. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, I think they're 10 millimeter. You can grab a 10 millimeter wrench and hold the back side, but they got tight. Now you're going to want to just repeat the same procedure on the opposite side. So now we're going to take and remove this bracket right here. There's 4 21 millimeters right here. I'm going to take my 3/8 gun with my 21 millimeter socket and remove them. We're just going to take our bracket off, and now you're going to want to repeat that whole procedure on the opposite side. So now that we have them both off, we're going to take our new brackets. They're labeled, this says driver's side. We're going to reuse our factory hardware, and we're just going to stick this up in place here, like that. We'll take our nuts that we took off to take this apart, get them on. Same up here. I'm going to get the bracket and try to just get it straight. Put it in the middle of the slots because it is adjustable. And take my 3/8 gun with my 21 millimeter here, and we're going to tighten these up. Now you're going to want to just repeat that same procedure on the opposite side. Okay, so now that we got our brackets on, we're ready to install our bumper. Now's the time you're going to need somebody. This is a heavy bumper. I got Alex here, he's going to give me a hand. We're going to get this bumper up in place. We're going to start one bolt, then we'll get underneath it, and then I'll start the rest of the bolts and tighten them up. Now we'll get underneath and I'll finish putting the bolts in and we'll start tightening it up. So next, I'm going to get under here now. We have one bolt. I'm going to slide our next bolt, flat washer, lock washer, and nut. Get this one started. And once I get them started, I'm going to make sure my bumper is where I want it. That's pretty good. I'm going to take an 18 millimeter wrench and an 18 millimeter on my 3/8 electric gun here. And we're going to tighten these up. And now you're going to want to repeat that same procedure on the opposite side. So now we're going to get up inside here. I'm going to grab this plug here. It's for a trailer hitch, or a plug, I'm sorry. And we're just going to take this, pop it into place like that and connect that. Next, we'll connect our tag lights. So now the harness we took out for our tag lights, what I'm gonna do is fish this back into place here. And now you're probably not gonna be able to see this because it's way up in here and the trailer hitch is in its way. I'm gonna reach my other hand in here and hook up our tag lights and put our plugs in place here. That's one. Now you're going to want to just repeat that same procedure on the opposite side. So now that I have all our stock wiring hooked up here, we have our tag lights hooked up, we have our trailer plug hooked up. We're going to wire our fog lights that are in the bumper here in the back. What I'm going to do is take the wiring harness that they gave us in the kit. Now they give you an extra harness here because of the length of the truck. I'm going to plug these in. We're going to run these along the frame. I'm going to show you how I would do it. I'm not going to spend the extra time to wire tie everything because this is going to be coming off, but on your vehicle, you're going to want to spend the extra time wiring and tying this up and making sure nothing touches, nothing rubs against anything hot, the exhaust, or any of the pinch points with the suspension. So I'm going to plug these in here. Plug this one in here. I'm going to tuck this up inside above the spare tire. And now I'm going to fish it above the spare tire, and we'll start going down along the frame rail with this harness. So now I'm going to keep fishing it up above the frame here. And again, you just want to watch for anything that's going to be hot or pinch points. And at this point, what I would do is I would definitely start wire tying it you have some brake lines up here, you have some ABS lines, some other stuff. I'd start wiring it up, tying it up. I'm going to keep fishing it all the way up to as far as it'll go, and then we'll hook up the other harness and finish it to the front of the vehicle. So now we're going to plug our harness into our extension harness here, and what we're going to do is I'm going to just run this up and tie this up above into the frame. Now in the kit they do give you some wire ties to use. You're going to want to use them, tie it up. We'll run this along the frame, the wiring harness, and we'll get it up, and then we got to fish it inside the truck and hook it up to the battery, and then finish running the switch back inside to the cab. So now we got our harness up to this section here. We're right where the catalytic converters are. I'm going to finish tucking it up along and following this wiring harness. Now there is a plug up here underneath your floor where you might be able to go in if you wanted to push or take your wire for your switch and run that through. I don't know if it's long enough, but I think they do give you plenty of length of wire. You could pop that plug out, pull your carpet up, and run that wire up in there. For demonstration purposes, I'm just going to go through the door jamb and show you how. But the rest of the wire, like I said, we're just going to take it, tuck it up here by this harness, run it along our harness, and again, make sure you use plenty of wire ties to tie this up and get it nice and tight. Because we're going to be removing this, I'm not going to spend the time doing that. But I'm going to get this up and then fish the main harness here through the engine compartment to the battery so we can hook it up. So now we fished our harness up into our wheel well here. I'm going to just reach down in here and grab a hold of it. There we go. And I'm going to pull it up in here. Get the switch, put the switch over there, and we'll get our harness here. So next what we're going to do is I'm going to show you where I would mount this. We're going to have to make some extensions on our wires here to run across to our battery. I'm going to show you how to do all that, and then we'll get this in place. So now we got our harness up in here. What I would do if I was mounting this permanently, I would end up taking my relay, mounting it right here. That gives us enough wire here to run inside the cab. There's a couple different ways, we'll talk about that, to fish this wire through the cab. But I would get a self-tapper. You can get that at your local hardware store. Drill a hole here, mount your relay here. Now in that case, this is all the wire they give us in this kit to adapt this to the battery, which would have to run all the way over there. So what I'm going to do is take a pair of cutters and crimpers, that's these here. I'm going to cut the ends off of this. I'm gonna cut the two ones that they put on here off. Then what I'm gonna do is strip these back. Now that I have them stripped, we're gonna give them a twist. We're gonna take two butt connectors. Now, these are not supplied in the kit. You can get these at your local auto parts store, a hardware store. I'm gonna take this and we're gonna crimp this on this end here so we can add some wire to this to run all the way over to the other side. Next, what we're going to do is I'm going to take about another 6 feet, 7 feet of 14 gauge wire here. I'm going to strip this back with our strippers. I always twist the wires, make sure they're twisted together like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take black to black, hook these up, use the crimpers, and that's going to give us the length we need to run across the front of the truck and over to the battery. So now what I'm going to do is remove our rad support cover here because I'm going to run the wires underneath the front of the radiator support and over to our battery. So we have some push clips. We have some up here, some here, over here, a couple over here. I'm going to start by removing our push clips. Just make sure that's loose there. Now we'll remove these here. Pretty sure I have them all out. We should be able to pop this up. So I already got one left here, right here. Get that one off, and that should remove a rad support cover. So now what we're going to do is run our wires right up along the top here. And what I would do, if this was going to be a permanent fixture, but it's not going to be on this truck, is I would wire tie everything up very nice, run along this harness here, get everything in place here, fish our wires over, and again, I would tie these all up real nice. Take your time. I'm just going to lay them down in here for now. And now we'll go ahead and reinstall our rad support cover. So now we're going to reinstall our rad support cover. I'm just going to take it, get it down in place here and get it underneath our, and this gets underneath there, like that. This one's down there. I'm going to take our push clips that we took off prior. Start putting them in place. Now that we have all those in place, now we'll go over here and wire up our connectors at our battery. So now what we're doing, we're over here by our battery. We have our two pieces of extra wire that we extended over to here so we could get to our battery. What I'm going to do is take this eye clamp here, and what we're going to do is install this. Now these terminals are not including in the kit. Again, you can get these at your local auto parts store. So we're going to use our crimpers here and crimp our connections. Do that on the negative and twist. Do it on the positive. So now what I'm going to do is run these underneath here. So now I'm going to take my 10mm on my 1/4" drive ratchet, loosen this one up here in the back. We're going to hook our positive up to this. So we're going to tighten this one up. Put our cover back on. And we'll come over here to the negative. I'll loosen this one up. Take this off. Fish our negative wire back along here. And tighten this one up. And again, make sure that if you run these wires, you don't have them nowhere where they can be pinched. You use wire ties. They only give you so many in the kit, so you're going to have to go to the hardware store and get some more wire ties, but you could tie it up real nice to the battery cables. That's what I would do, and make it look real professional once you install it. So now that we have everything hooked up as far as our battery, again, you would have this all wire tied up. You'd have your relay here. We're going to run this switch inside the vehicle. It's a couple different options you have. There is a couple rubber grommets down in here that you could actually cut a hole in, fish it through that way. In the bottom, underneath the truck, I think I showed previously, there's a plug that's underneath there on the floor. You could run it through the floor. What I'm going to do here, because we're not keeping this on our vehicle, I'm going to run it up through the jamb here and come into the door jamb and then come inside and mount it to the dash. So I'm just going to fish it up inside here, pretty much like this, and get it up into this jamb here and pull it down through, and I'll open the door and feed it inside here so I can pull it through. So now I got it pushed down inside. I'm going to drop it through the jamb here, just like this. And it's behind the upper panel here. You can use a plastic trim tool to get it down in place. That's what I'm doing right now. So we're going to come through the jamb just like that. Now I'm going to get inside here, drop it down, and then mount it onto our dash. So now I have it pulled through here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this piece right here. Take my plastic pry tool here and pop this off. And again, there's different ways to run this wire. There's a plug in the floor right down in here. You can pull up and run it under the carpet and come up. There's a plug inside the firewall there. You're able to cut, slice it, and push it through. Because we're not making this a permanent thing, I'm actually just going to pull back a little bit on the rubber here and run it behind the rubber and fish this down and drop it down under the dash, pretty much like that. And push the grommet back up on, like that. Reinstall our trim piece. So now that I have this out, I'm going to take the excess wire, stick it underneath the dash, and get it out of the way. You also can wire tie it up if you'd like. I'm just going to make sure everything's tucked up in here. And then we're going to take our double-sided tape here. Peel that off. And mount our switch. So now that we have our switch mounted, just going to show you, you have your red is off, green is on, back to red, simple push button, and that'll wrap up this install. That wraps up this review and install of our Rough Country heavy duty LED rear bumper for 17 to 22 F-250 Super Duties. Thanks for watching, and for all things F-250, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.